Okay, so we're live. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Business Video Marketing Summit. I'm Owen, President and CEO of Video Spot out here in San Diego, California, and I'm very excited about today's guest because I've been watching and following, I've been watching and following Amber for some time now. She just launched her own summit that she is offering the videos now for a fee. That money goes to charity. She has an amazing ability to work with people. She's got great content on her website, and I'm stoked that she was able to make time for us today. So I want to introduce you all to Amber Ludwig. Amber, how are you?
Good. Owen, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about the topic of your summit and the value we're going to deliver today. I think we're going to rock it pretty hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, video is one of those things that kind of spans every industry, right? It's not necessarily a technique just for content marketers. Is that loud? Can you hear the airplane?
No, I can't. But you're absolutely right that no matter what industry you have, what business you have, if you're an author, if you're a coach, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size of your business. I think video is critical if you want to be online. You know, especially in the year 2014, if you're not on video, you will be left behind. And you know, I don't know if you've heard circling around all of the internet right now that in the next 2 to 3 years or so, billions more people are going to be hopping online. And so imagine, I always kind of like look at it like this tsunami is coming. And you have to really position yourself if you want to be at the top of that tsunami, if you want your business to be strong. And I actually believe that video is one of the strongest ways that you can position yourself online right now.
Now, why do you think that is? I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. We could say, you know, the whiteboard videos, the explainer videos are great at converting sales, but why do you think video is as important as it is?
One word, and that's connection. You know, when you had a brick and mortar store, you could walk in, you could shake somebody's hand, you could talk to them, you could build rapport, build that relationship. When you're online, though, it's a totally different story because people, a lot of time that connection is getting lost. I can't tell you how many times that somebody comes to my website and they say, Amber, your stuff looks great, but can you give me a price for a website? Well, there's no connection with that. I have to build rapport. I have to build the value for the product. So video
That's a great point.
Allows you to really connect with your audience, build that relationship, have them feel your energy and your personality. That can't come across in text very well. So yes, I think video does convert, but.
And I think the challenge in that is for small and growing businesses is that somebody calls and they say, I saw your website, I really like a bid on your programs. It's really tempting to jump into that and give them the lowest price and hope to make a new sale. When it's like you said, there's no connection, there's no value, you're just a price. And video helps to overcome and build a bridge between who you are as a business person and professional and what your products and services are all about. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And I'll add another thing to that. You know, right now we're seeing that people are on content overload. Their attention span is pathetic. And so, you know, in the old days when you could just put up a website that has this content explaining the value of that website package and how you are going to implement the project or whatever, people aren't going to read through that. They're going to want to see an image of the website you've done in the past, and then they're going to want to maybe see a video that's talking about the process, because we can absorb content at a much faster rate through video by listening versus reading. So there's a lot of different reasons you have to hop on board with video. You just don't have an option anymore.
You know, James Wedmore, who's a video marketing expert, actually made that statement, I think, in 2013, that video isn't the future, it's the now. And here we are, almost a full year, you know, past that date. So, you know, give us a little background, Amber, on who you are, what you do, and how you're using video in your business.
Okay, easy questions. They're very short answers, right? So I guess I want to start by saying that I work with authors, speakers, and coaches, and I help them grow their business online. And I specifically work with authors, speakers, and coaches because I found that that group of people, they have a message they want to share with the world, which really gets me excited. They are investing in their success. They want to be great. They're committed. And that's just the perfect type of client for me. And I have so much experience in building businesses online. So I'm really focused on the results. And I started my company back in 2007, and I called it NG Enterprises, standing for No Guts, No Glory. And I started out just by building websites. We've built hundreds of WordPress custom websites for clients now. We're really, again, focused on how to get them results with those websites. So then from there, we work with clients on their social media, on their copywriting and branding and core message and video and all of these different things that help you get exposure online and really grow online. And I'm very, very, very passionate about it. And as for how I infuse video in my business, gosh, I mean, I remember even before I had my business, I was doing video for this other company that I was working at, Vector Marketing. And I grew very quickly in the company, and I was running these 90-minute interviews, trying to recruit other people to sell Cutco cutlery. That's what it was. And what I did is I got such good results at recruiting that the regional manager asked me to record my interview and then record a whole, extra sort of training around how I get results in different parts of the interview, and broke it all down. So I mean, even when I was in my early 20s, I was doing video. Can't say I was super comfortable with it all the time, but now, one of the key ways that I use video in my business now, and that I think a lot of your viewers can get an idea from, is I do a lot of screencast-based video training. So, for example, when I launch a WordPress website, well, the client needs to know how to use the website, right? They need to know how to add blog posts. So what I do is I use Camtasia, and I'll literally walk through every page of WordPress and talk to them about how to embed video, how to add a link, how to add images, how to change the text.
You do this? You do this for every one of your clients, or did you do like a general website WordPress training video?
Great question. In the beginning, I did it for everybody, and I thought, this is stupid. I mean, I'm always looking for ways to get, improve my efficiency. If I do something more than 2 or 3 times, I turn it into a system so I don't have to keep doing it. So
that is a key takeaway, absolutely.
Yeah, so I did learn pretty quickly. I actually came up with 5 core WordPress training videos that now all of our clients get, and I update it about once a year when I feel like there's some new things we need to talk about. But then what I do is I do an extra separate training video just specific to that client, because everybody's website is different and I need to teach them their customizations. I do this for MailChimp training. For another example, I had a client that asked me to sign up for her opt-in list, go through her autoresponder series, and buy into her course and give her feedback on that whole process. What did I do? I did Camtasia. It was an hour-long video where I went through every aspect of her product and gave her feedback. And imagine if I had to write out all of that over text, or like over an email about all the different things. It would have been ridiculous. So that's actually, I use video every single day in that way. But there are other ways that I use video as well. I mean, something that you and I talked about earlier this week was my weekly live video cast, where I get on Google Hangouts just like we're doing now, and I do a free live half-an-hour training video. And that's a great way for me to get exposure from YouTube, right? Because the video gets uploaded to YouTube afterwards.
Right.
I embed it into a blog post. I'm doing it live for the people that want to watch me live, and then you can even strip out the audio and use that as a podcast on iTunes. And there's lots of other ways I use video too, but I feel like I've been talking forever.
I'm so interested in what you have to say because you're so comfortable on camera, and that's really neat. I wanted to go back to Camtasia though a little bit, because I love Camtasia, but I'm also a video editor. I went to school for editing, and I mean, I can use Final Cut, I can use Adobe, I've even used Avid products. How hard is Camtasia to use, and how accessible is it to the average business owner, marketing manager watching this right now?
Oh, I think it's maybe the simplest thing you could be using. I mean, I think it's what, $100 or $200. You buy the license, you hit a red record button, and then you can set the size of the screen on your computer, and it starts
Yeah.
recording. You talk into a microphone, and when you're done, you hit stop recording.
Yeah.
It's like literally that simple. And I have to be honest, though. I mean, I do have editing software. I use Sony Vegas Platinum if I'm editing video, but
Right.
frankly, I really don't edit my videos very much because I think that when you edit videos, sometimes like the viewer can get distracted because they notice a difference, you know, in positioning or whatever, or the sound, and it really distracts the process. And also, I feel like people want to communicate with people who are real. You know, I think that my following likes me not because I'm perfectly polished, perfect Amber, but it's because I'm real. If I, you know, like this, if I can't say it perfectly, if I stumble on my words, it's like, oh, cool, she's human and she's successful. So I'm human, which means I can be successful. But I think Camtasia is easy for anybody to use, honestly.
I think you bring up a great point too in terms of the raw, the natural feel. And those of you guys that are watching this recording, you might hear some of the background noise. We actually had some internet problems at our office today, so we had to come down here to the coffee shop. We're right by the airport, and you're kind of hearing some of this background noise. But the reality is, I had Amber Ludwig scheduled, and we're not gonna move away from that. So I think that overproduction, you know, maybe caring too much about the perfection of a piece is just going to slow down your process, right? So many business owners, and maybe you can tell us your experience. How do you handle a client when they tell you, you know, I don't have everything perfect, I don't have everything in place, I'm not ready to start? How do you handle that?
Oh, it happens all the time. I mean, seriously, and I'm a perfectionist, so I mean, there's part of it that I have to deal with too, although not nearly as much, because what I have really noticed is that when we try to make something too perfect, it gets so big, then we get really overwhelmed, and then we don't do anything. So I would rather you take action and get some results than wait and do, you know, product development is perfect. We get this idea to create a product, we're all fired up about it, but then when we sit down to do it, we think, oh, I have to do this research to make sure that I know everything about this topic. And then you start doing research and see all the stuff you don't know. And then, I mean, it just gets out of control. So I say just do what you can, the best that you can, and get it out there. Because the longer you delay trying to be perfect, you're not monetizing your business. And the reality is you have to make money. Otherwise, you're going to have to go get a part-time or full-time job someplace else. And the world needs your unique message, and you can't rob us of that. So you've got to just get over it and get it done, I think.
Do you ever watch Shark Tank?
I love Shark Tank.
I do too, and I think every entrepreneur should be watching it. You know, one of the lessons that I don't know, so I've learned it, but one of the messages they reinforce is they ask the entrepreneur, is this your full-time job, or are you also working a part-time gig while you're doing it? And when they say, hey, I'm doing part-time, they're always like, hey, call us when you're serious. And to your message about being serious about your video and being able to walk away from kind of that position, it's natural to the entrepreneur to not start when everything. You didn't start your business when you had all the answers. You just started. And the same process, I think, goes, you know, to your video production. So let me ask you this: how can someone just get started? What are some ways an author, for example, can use video in their marketing right now today?
Well, there's lots of different ways, and that's why, honestly, Owen, one of the things that I do is I offer complimentary strategy sessions for people. And this isn't like, oh, let's sort of talk about things, and I'm not going to tell you how to do anything, and then I'm just going to try to pitch you at the end. When I do a strategy session, it is like hard. I give them everything they need to know, because if you're an author, speaker, coach, they're all different. You may be right in the middle of a book launch, so my answer would be different than if you've already done your book launch and now, you know, whatever. So, but let's just be generalized. Generalized, I would say that one of the best ways to start using video is on your website. I think that's going to be really important. Your website is the hub and heart of everything that you do online. You have to nail your website. It's a representation of the quality of your business and the value you can deliver to people. And I think that on your homepage, I'd say this for most people, on your homepage, if you can create a 2.5 3-minute video that introduces yourself to people, saying, hi, this is who I am, what I do, why I do it, here's how I can help you, and here's what I want you to do next. So you're always ending that video with a call to action. But having you got to keep it short, you got to nail it, right? But having that introduction on your website is probably one of the first things that I would have somebody do. And then from there, we can branch out to doing short little how-to educational videos for YouTube. Again, one of the largest websites in the world, and a video is king. Like, you have to have good content on YouTube, and you can disperse that throughout your marketing strategy. But since you asked me what I would have people do first, that would be it, the 3-minute video on the homepage to at least get going.
I get that question a lot myself from the business owners I work with, and it seems like the moment you ask they say, what kind of video should I do? And it's like, what would you tell someone if they're in a room with you and you had 2 minutes?
Exactly. Yep.
What would you tell them? And it's really, your video is an extension of that connection process, right? You don't walk into a room and say, buy my product. Well, maybe some people do, and if you are, stop it.
Stop it. Yeah, totally.
Building a connection with people. Now, do you recommend YouTube as the primary distribution source, or what are some other ways? Do you keep some videos private? I mean, what's your strategy there? What would you recommend?
Some people don't want to use YouTube because YouTube will say that they own the rights to your video if it's on YouTube, and that freaks some people out. But I'm of the opinion that we don't really own anything online, so I get over that, and I put everything on YouTube. All of those client training videos I talked to you about with Camtasia, they're all on YouTube. Are they all public? They're not all public, no. So okay. I'm choosy about which ones I put public, because the normal public wouldn't care what's on, Lisa's website. You know what I mean?
Nailed it. Yeah, exactly.
So you just unlist those videos that you don't want on the public search engines. And I totally lost my train of thought there. Oh, so then anyway, so I have this monthly training program. It's $27 a month, and it's a great option for people to get good coaching with me without hiring me at my coaching rates. So they buy into a $27 month-to-month type program, and each month I deliver a 1-hour training video to them that's like jam-packed with content. So that I put that on YouTube, and it's unlisted. So, I mean, even my webinar replays, YouTube, I put everything on YouTube, and it just depends on what's public and what's not. But I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube, and I love it. But, Vimeo is another popular one. I know there's a lot of other sources. I don't really host anything on my website myself, or do like Amazon S3, because YouTube works great for me. So that's what I'm
YouTube satisfies it, right?
It does, right. Yeah.
And that's a great point, because I think, again, that goes to the overwhelming mindset. Where do I go? I'm hearing YouTube. I'm hearing Vimeo. I'm hearing, what's that? There's a social one my buddy uses a lot. But sure. YouTube, I mean, again, the analysis paralysis. Just focus on one right now. Let's focus on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, and frankly, why wouldn't you want to be on the #1 video site in the world? I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer to me, and it's a Google product, which means your YouTube videos are showing up in search engines. Do you ever see Vimeo videos show up in Google? Not very often. They're YouTube videos.
Not very often. And the thing is that with that platform, you're really able to do everything that you can do on multiple channels, right? I think Vimeo is kind of like YouTube for private videos. Right? So if you're going to be doing a bunch of private videos, I mean, you can just do YouTube private, or you can use Vimeo. It's the same. YouTube gives you a real rounded training, and you're on 2 major search engines. So for those that are out there listening, kind of like in that analysis paralysis, let's just focus, I think, on YouTube, for the time being. So let's say that we've got that planned out now. We're going to YouTube. what is the next step then in creating a video strategy? Are we creating one video or are we creating multiple videos? What's your thoughts on that?
You know, my general advice, and again, it's my advice would be different for everybody. So I'm going to open it up to anybody that wants a private strategy session with me after watching this. I'm happy to help you formulate your own plan. But in general, for my coaching clients, I say let's get the video on your website so that, because again, that's the hub and heart of everything you do. So some clients I'll even say you should do a short video on your services page to explain the different service options. On my website for that $27 monthly training program, I have a video on that page that explains the training program and the common objections that would come up. So look at the core pages on your website and decide which ones should have a video, the ones where you really want to sell yourself and what you're doing. But after that, my next strategy is honestly to sit down and write, let's say 12 or 15 topics that relate to your overall core message. So for me, website would be a topic: design, branding, core message, list building, content plan, social media, product development, affiliate marketing. I mean, whatever your topics are, then what I would do is, start creating a short little how-to video for all of those different topics and put them on YouTube.
Love it.
So for example, let's say I'm talking about the website one and I decide to hit that record button and I'm going to do a quick little, promo about the website. What I would say is, hi, this is, Amber, this is what I do, and today I'm going to give you a few tips about website, what you really need on your website to get real results. Number one, you have to have social media integration, and I'd tell them why. Number two, you have to have a blog, and then I would tell them why. Number three, you have to have whatever, and I'd tell them why. And then I would, invite them to take action. I'd give them some sort of a challenge. And at the end, I have a call to action, whether it's make a comment below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, contact me for a strategy session, and I would end the video. And so now you have all of these amazing training videos on YouTube, and you can embed them on your website. You can spread them on social media. You can use them all over the place. But I think that's a really awesome strategy that anybody can implement, anybody can do. You don't have to be an expert or a master. It's easy enough, and it's a great way to get new leads in your business, showcase your value, and that's only going to help you sell more.
How do you plan time for that? Because all that was great information. How do you plan time for that?
Everybody is different, Owen. For me, it's easier for me to block out a Sunday and knock out all videos the same day because
I love that.
I get all, my hair straight, my makeup on, and what happens is I feel the energy, I feel the blood flowing, and I'm excited and I'm passionate about my business. Why would I want to go through that whole process and get this passionate to do one video? Knock them all out at once. That's what I think. But not everybody has that kind of schedule where they can do that. So, do one a week, whatever you need to do, but you have to take action. You have to make it happen in your schedule, because if you just say, oh yeah, I should do that, you're never going to do it. Let's be real. You have to put it in your schedule. You have to commit. And once you do, you'll build your confidence. You'll see it wasn't that big of a deal, that it was easy, and you're going to start getting real results in your business. So it's up to you.
I love what you said about blocking out time, because the key, and this has been key for me in my business generally, is anything that I have to do, I put it in my calendar.
Yeah.
And with, the laptop syncing with my tablet, syncing with my my phone, me and my coach, we've decided that this is going to be a paperless year. My coach came into my office, she sees all these sticky notes, and she says, okay, that has to go. You have to stop doing that immediately. But scheduling the time, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever, put it in your calendar. This Saturday I'm going to do 5 videos. And then you've got all week to be thinking about what you want to say, how you want to say it, and maybe even jotting some ideas down in Evernote or Trello as to what you're going to say in those videos. So scheduling the time is huge. Now, it's huge. Now, Amber, you just made some great points over the last 20, 30 minutes or so on content creation. Let's talk about content promotion. And I know you just finished a summit. Talk a little bit about how, now that we've got this content, how do we promote it? How do we get it out there?
Well, there's lots of different ways. I mean, number one, let's say you do the 10 YouTube videos. What are you going to do with them? Well, they're on YouTube, but first of all, make sure that you have a really great title, description, keywords. You want to make sure that you're optimizing those YouTube videos so that people can find your content. It would be easy enough for you just to Google, how do I optimize my YouTube videos, to find step-by-step instructions. But then, what do you want to do next? Well, you want to make sure they're on your website, right? So I would set up like a video library page and put them all on one page. I don't love that idea. In fact, disregard that. What I would do instead is I would create 15 blog posts and schedule them one a week or two a week to drop in advance. And so you create the first video on the 3 ways to improve your website results, but don't just plop in the video. That's so lame. Don't expect people are just going to watch it.
Right.
Do some teaser text. Say, hey, are you not getting the results that you wish you were getting on your website? So you're building the value for the video, and then always have a call to action, do the comments and whatever. So now it's on my website, now it's on YouTube, but now I need to send it to my email list. So then what you could do is have a strategy where like once a week you're sending an email to your email subscribers and you're featuring a video. But again, don't just plop in the video image, like a screenshot of the image. Build value for it. Why should somebody watch this video? Well, then what do you need to do? Well, obviously you need to promote it on social media. So you go to all of the major social networks, Facebook and Google+. Again, don't just plop in the video link. By the way, you'd be linking people back to your blog post because you always want people to come back to your website so they can see everything else you have to offer.
That's right. Very important. Very important.
Huge. Don't just send them to YouTube. Send them to that blog post. But then you have to let people know about it on social media. I mean, so there's all kinds of things you can do. You can send it to past clients and say, hey, I created this and thought of you. Feel free to share it with your friends. You can send out a message on LinkedIn about it. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that you can do. But what happens is if you think you have to promote it in 15 different ways, you may get overwhelmed. So try to start small. Get yourself in a routine where you put it on YouTube, on a blog post, send out the email, and send it out on social media. And just get in the routine of doing those things. And once you are confident about that routine and you feel efficient in your time, well, then start to explore what else could I do. Because then that way, you'll actually get it done instead of just being overwhelmed.
Now, how about how about strategic alliances? We've implemented a strategy in some cases where we'll review. For example, I did a video on how to make a great homepage, and I used a couple references like Nikki's notes, and I just love Nicole D'Alonzo. I love everything that she's doing. And I mentioned her website, and then I shared with her that video to kind of leverage that relationship with her and hope that she would share it. Is that something you would recommend or something you would stay away from?
I don't think it hurts at all. I mean, anytime, as long as it's genuine. I mean, you have to be authentic, in my opinion. It really comes back to what kind of a reputation you want online. What's really your brand? I wanted a reputation of really just promoting the best of the best of the best. That way, when I'm promoting a strategic partner or somebody that I want to work with or an affiliate, somebody, it's just the best of the best. So first you have to figure out, like, if I put this person in my video, is it just because I want to leverage their list, or is it because I actually believe in what they're doing? So if you actually believe in what they're doing, just as you said, then heck yeah, that's a great idea. And then it just builds the relationship. And what I would invite you to do is to really study your industry, related industries, who's really the game changer, who's the thought leader. And then I would just build that relationship, because at some point you're going to want to collaborate with that person. It doesn't have to be right now. I have relationships I've been building for 8+ years, and I haven't asked for a single thing. But anytime you can add value to your audience by promoting yourself or other people, I think it's only going to come back to you in a positive way.
And I think that you make a good point with the authenticity. And what was the title of your last summit?
It was the Authentic Business Success Summit. So
exactly.
It was all about authenticity.
And you are a very real person, you know. In the time that and we met through a mutual friend, and I've been kind of following your work, and as I go onto your website and I've been following your blog, what I see from you is very much like, here's the truth of the situation, right? Here's the situation you're probably in, and a person is reading this blog going like, oh my gosh, that's me.
Yep.
And I think for the person creating videos, whether you're an interior designer or a plastic surgeon, you know, you've got to be real with your people, because if you're fake, if you're a faker and you're using video, do you think that's going to come off?
Exactly. And you know, I'm going to just venture to guess that not everybody knows how to be totally real, because we all have our own insecurities and fear of exposure. We have our own stuff going on. Plus, we feel like, oh my God, I need to make money, I need to make money, I need to make money, or whatever is going on. All of that chatter can really get in your way of being real on video. So one of the things I really strongly emphasize you do is to come up with your one ideal client. Now, when I ask people, like, hey, what's your ideal client? They're like, oh, well, it's a man or woman between 35 and 65. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Pick man, woman. Pick her. What is her exact age? How many kids does she have? How old are they? What are her exact fears? I mean, I actually go through this 30-minute process with clients where I come up, some people have called it a client avatar or whatever, but I get
buyer persona, sure.
Yeah, I get so specific with that person that at the end they have a name, they have a photo. I mean, they know everything about that client. And when you're doing video, put yourself, remember that person. Let's call her Molly. Molly, what is she thinking right now? And really try to put yourself in that space. Oh God, she's really spinning her wheels. She's not getting the progress that she wants in her business, and she's scared her husband's going to start to resent her if she doesn't start pulling in money, and she's frantic and she's confused. Boom, hit record and talk to Molly through that camera, and I promise you, you'll get a whole different world of results. So by getting out of your mind and putting yourself in your customer's place, you'll totally see a difference in your results every time.
You know, it's so important that you mention that, because, you know, we go through a similar process. It's not quite as in-depth, but when I'm working with a client and they're in front of the camera and they're kind of doing the I don't know what to say situation, I tell them, pretend the camera is your client. And then from there, it just starts to flow. They start to say, look, you need, you know, you're in pain every day. Your lower back hurts and you're not eating right. That's what this video is going to help solve. Do you encourage your clients to use you language in the video, talking directly to a client?
Yes.
Or do you?
Absolutely. And I'm not even perfect at this myself, but I really make an effort. But yeah, I mean, I really try to visualize my perfect client, and another thing that came up for me when you were saying that is some people get like really afraid of that camera when they see the light come on or whatever the notification is that you're recording. And my tip that works for me is I look through the camera. I don't even visualize that my client is sitting right there, because it's hard for me to visualize that when I'm staring at a camera. But I just look right through the lens, and almost like, you know, how you can not even totally focus. It's like you're looking beyond it, and all of a sudden I don't have nerves anymore, and I'm connecting with that other side of it. So if you have any fears, that's a great tip for you. But I think that, yeah, it's just going to come right out of you if you can put yourself in the client's shoes.
Now, going back to promotion, do you think it's pushy? You know, a lot of people watching this, I think, are, you know, probably going to a lot of chamber meetings. They're probably doing BNI, or, you know, they're marketing managers working at a bigger corporation, so maybe 9 to 5, they don't have a chance to get out as much. Is it too aggressive to make a business card, maybe, with an offer on the back that says view my video? So when you meet somebody, you're actually pushing people right to that landing page, that video landing page. Is that too aggressive, or do you think that would work? I mean, how about offline promotion? What are your thoughts on that?
My strength is online promotion, but I will tell you that in business cards, absolutely you should have some sort of a call to action. I've had lots of different business cards over my, career, but, for example, my last one had a picture of my ebook on the back with the title and 3 bullets you get by reading it with my website URL. And people would naturally want that ebook, and they'll go to my website where they can view all about me and hopefully opt into my email list. But I would say that it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if I was just going to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, maybe I wouldn't do anything special. But let's say that I was going to a conference. Let's say I'm going to Social Media Marketing World here next month. What I would do then is maybe, if my schedule allowed it and I really thought that was where my perfect target audience is, maybe I would create something special just about social media, just for that audience. And then maybe I would develop a little note card that talks about this special free training series that I'm giving just to people at Social Media Marketing World.
Great point.
Anytime that you can do something custom like that when you have a bigger opportunity, I say go for it. And you're always inviting people to opt in for that free gift because you want to collect email addresses. That's how you continue the conversation, versus if you just put up a landing page and plop a video on it, hopefully people will opt in. So, I mean, as long as the whole point of the video is getting people to opt in, but, there's some strategy that can definitely be used there.
And I want to make sure that we give the audience a chance to connect with you and to connect with your training. That $27 program sounds awesome, and we'll get to that. We got about 15 minutes left. Let's talk about some ideas and brainstorm here. And we're kind of going a little off the cuff, but let's say, I think we focus a lot on business owners.
Yeah.
What about the marketing manager, right? They work for a mid-level company and maybe they got a background in PR. What are some ways a marketing manager can leverage video to impress the boss, right? Because the boss has to give them the, okay, here's a budget to go create those. What are some ideas that a marketing manager can use, and is it different from what a business owner would use?
Owen, I'm going to be totally transparent with you that I don't know the answer to that question. My focus is really on authors, speakers, and coaches. And so I really haven't I haven't had a history of developing marketing plans for that type of an audience. Let's
talk about coaches. Let's talk about ways a coach, how does a coach use video to stand out from the crowd?
Well, actually, one thing that did come up, it's kind of a funny story, but when I was doing my summit, the Authentic Business Success Summit, I got the idea back in September, so it really wasn't that long ago, and I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be special. And so what I did is, instead of sending a Facebook message or an email out to that person, because the speakers that I asked, there's some pretty big speakers on that lineup, we've got Ken MacArthur, who's named one of the top 20 most influential people online, and Dr. David Chalk, who is the leader of the next millennium. He was named that by Equity Magazine. Unbelievable people. So I thought, I can't just send out an email. So what I did, I created a video. And I had no idea what I was going to say. I just hit that record button and go. And I said, hi, Ken, first, just let me say I'm so grateful for the manifesto you just created. I think it's going to make a huge impact. So I start by saying something really personal so he knows I'm paying attention to him, giving him some kudos. And then what I did is I said, hey, I got an idea for something and I wanted to share it with you. And I told him all about the summit, how we're teaching entrepreneurs the mindset and business strategies to grow 6, 7, and 8-figure empires, and how I've been following his work. I think he's brilliant and I would love for him to participate in the summit. Here's what would be involved. And I really tried to keep that video short, but they ended up being on average around 7 minutes. And what I did is I would email the speaker, and I'd say, hey, Ken, if you have 7 minutes, would love you to watch this video. When you're done, contact me so I can give you more details. And the response was incredible from the speakers. Ken, for example, thought it was just a brilliant way to approach somebody. It was an immediate yes. I think John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire was the most impressed. He said, I get requests 4 or 5 times a week to do telesummits, and I turn them all down because I don't have time. I even have a canned response for it. But the way that you just did this, I'm so impressed with you. I love the concept. Absolutely, I'm on board. So for whatever it's worth, I think that, you know, that's just another example of how you can use video. If you're going to ask somebody for something and you feel like, wow, I've really got, this is my chance right here, right now, do it on video.
Yeah.
If you're going to go apply for a corporation, add a video, not just your resume, but here's a DVD or here's a link to a YouTube channel. I mean, get creative, because again, it really comes back to that connection. People say yes because they feel something from you, and they want more of that. So that comes to mind.
Now, do you believe, do you script out, or do you do more of an outline? What's kind of your content strategy there?
I absolutely do not do a script, because then I focus too much on the words. So for example, later today I'm doing a live video training, and it's all going to be about the ways to get traffic to your website. I have a Word document with 4 bullets on it, and each bullet is maybe 2 words. And I really just know that the message is going to come through the way it's supposed to come through. I didn't, you know, same thing with this interview. We had a couple of questions, but we knew it was going to be off the cuff, and I just really tried to think through how I use video and go. It's go time, and it's just going to come through me. You have to be confident enough in your expertise and your experience to be able to just express. And I feel like if you're scripted, that's going to come across, because then you start to sound like a robot and you're trying to think of what's next. Or the people that use the teleprompters, and you can so see that they're reading.
The eyeballs
it's
moving.
Like,
yeah.
Dude, just be real. People appreciate that. If you think your video sucks, do it over, but just be real with people, you know? That's what I say.
Now, do you mentioned that you do sometimes edit, or you
Sure.
have the editing tools available if you need to. What tips can you give the audience in terms of editing? Do you outsource that? Do you do it internally? What's your process for that?
I really don't outsource very much. You know, I know HTML code. I can design things. I can do video editing. I really tried to learn the skills myself so that I don't have to carry that expense or waste my time waiting for somebody else to do the work.
Absolutely.
But I feel like in terms of like video editing, one of the main things that I do is I have a little intro for my videos that I'll put at the beginning and end of them. If you go to my YouTube channel, just search Amber Ludwig on Google and you'll see it. But so I add a little intro. Actually, I found this great resource. I think it's intromaker.net. And for like $5, $10, or $20, they have all these pre-made, you know, intros, like a little logo whiz-bang thing, and you can upload your own logo within minutes. You have your own intro. Then I think it's a great website. But anyway, so I'll just add that in. But in terms of like chopping up the actual video, I really try not to do that very much, because again, I think it's distracting to the viewer. Sometimes I have to. And I've heard Audacity is a really easy video editing software. iMovie I've heard good things about, but I'm a PC girl. And
all right, but you're a PC user, right?
Yes, and people give me crap about that all the time.
No, you and I, we have to band together. I'm giving you the fist of solidarity. I'm a pretty committed PC user, and I am a recovering Mac addict. You know,
really?
I was using, I used Mac my whole the whole time I was in college. I studied media, and when I started the business, it was way too hard going from, you know, this guy who has a PC, this guy who has a Mac, this guy da-da-da-da-da. So we went straight PC, and for all of you guys listening, I will never go back to Mac.
Wow, it's so
I am a PC guy now.
That's great. Okay, no, I don't feel so bad. But yeah, I mean, I think that there are a lot of different video editing softwares out there, and I guess one thing I want to address is that so many people have this fear of technology, and the reality is that I was at the same place you were when you first started too. Just because I know more, it just means that I started before you did. But if I can learn it, you can learn it. It's not like I was born with this extra gift that you don't have. You just have to sort of submit to technology, realize it's a part of our future, and dive in and learn it. And you will learn it, and it'll grow your confidence. But again, in the beginning, if you don't want to learn video editing, just re-record it until you're happy with it, and then you don't have to edit it. It's easy.
That's great advice. That's great advice. You know, all of that stuff is really good. You know, in terms of the advice that you're giving people from an introductory perspective, because you reinforce your own fear of technology when you keep telling yourself that you hate technology,
Totally.
you fear technology.
Yeah.
One of my rules with my clients is that, they say, oh, and I'm bad with computers, and I say, you know what? Okay, that's the last time you're allowed to say that in front of me. If you're my
Hallelujah.
client, it's time, it's time for you to start embracing it. You're gonna get there, but it's like eating a whale, right? One little bite at a time. So we're running out of time, Amber. I really appreciate you being so flexible today. As I mentioned earlier, we had some technology issues, and you've been so delightful and friendly and helpful in getting this
Thank
interview
you.
up. How can our listeners, our audience, learn more about you? How do they get involved with you? How do they engage with you? I know somebody's out there going, I've got to hear more from Amber. So give us some information on how we can connect with you.
Sure. Well, probably the easiest way is to go. I have many websites, but my primary one is amberludwig.com. And if you click on the About page within that website, you'll see my different websites and how you can engage with me. So we have one that's specifically for all the online services that we can help you out with. That's insightfuldevelopment.com. I have one about teen mentorship, and there's the Authentic Business Success Summit, and there's one for more of like a high-end author boutique type website. So, I mean, that's really where you can get a sense of my history, how I'm helping people. On my events page, you can watch one of my weekly live video trainings and get to know me there. But I'm very easy to approach, and I'm really helpful. I'm not trying to just get sales over here. I'm really trying to impact lives and help you share your message with the world. Any way that I can help, I'd like to. So I'm open to anybody contacting me.
What is the link to the monthly training that you mentioned?
Oh, that's great. So at amberludwig.com, there's a Work With Me tab. And if you hover on that, it'll just say monthly training, and you can watch the video and see how I do video, and you can look into that as well. It really is a great program. I mean, the first month, we're talking about how you can immediately generate income online. These are 4 strategies that I personally did when I started my company, so I didn't have to stress out about getting clients and getting work, and I could just focus on building the company. The second one is all about ways to reduce your overwhelm and stress, because everybody's overwhelmed and stressed right now, and it's sad for me to watch that. So had to dedicate a month to that. Month 3 is all about social media. So I mean, you'll see on that page where I talk about all the different months and what you can learn. But it's month to month. People can cancel at any time, but it's a great way to get some extra training from me for a very low rate.
I love it. So I want to encourage everybody watching this interview to go ahead, check out those websites, get in touch with Amber. The content that she provides is great. The referrals, the testimonials that I'm hearing from the website are fantastic. I want to thank everybody for joining us today on the Business Video Marketing Summit and watching this interview. I can't wait to bring you the next interview. Stay in touch, tell your friends, and we'll be back tomorrow and the rest of the week with more business video marketing videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.